Pavement. A crimson shadow, sharp and cold, stretches itself toward the west. This isn't a film. This isn't a computer-generated simulation. At this very moment, a star within our cosmic backyard is actively coming undone. The future we were guaranteed has completely fallen apart, and when its light finally reaches us, humanity will bear witness to something no civilization in all of recorded history has ever seen. Two suns suspended in the sky, one climbing upward, one sinking downward, both clearly visible at the same exact time. They assured us Betelgeuse was comfortably stable for another 100,000 years. Just watch and wait, they said. No urgency. But fresh observations are now uncovering something deeply unsettling. The star is not bouncing back the way it should be. It's losing layers of itself. It's flickering downward unpredictably. And astronomers have only just realized this isn't a natural death spiral. Something out there is actively ripping it apart. If you've been following this channel, you already know our focus: tracking precision anomalies. Objects that shatter our scientific models, the three-eye Atlas, the moon's tidal lock, things that have no right to exist, yet absolutely do. But while we were busy analyzing orbital paths within our own solar system, cosmologists were documenting something far more urgent. A nearby supergiant is losing its battle with stability, and as it turns out, the anomalies we've been chasing might simply be symptoms of a universe shifting into a hyperactive phase. Make sure you're subscribed, because today we're looking at what the telescopes are witnessing right now, what the data is shouting at us, and what it will truly mean when that light finally arrives. Let's begin with why the official timetable has just collapsed. Betelgeuse is colossal. If you placed it where our sun sits, its outer edge would extend far past Mars. It would swallow Earth entirely. But right now, this giant is suffocating, and the warning signs are impossible to ignore. Astronomers are going back through data from 2019 and 2020. Back then, they thought they understood what was unfolding. Betelgeuse dimmed, losing 60% of its visible brightness. To the unaided eye, it was disappearing from the constellation Orion. The official explanation? Just a dust cloud. The star burped out some material, temporarily blocked our view, and everything was fine. But when they reanalyze that same data now, they're seeing something radically different. If it had been merely dust blocking the light, the star's surface temperature should have remained constant. Dust doesn't change the star itself, it just gets in the way. Yet temperature measurements are showing something impossible. The surface temperature dropped significantly. That is not a dust cloud obstructing our view. That is the star itself cooling down. And a sudden drop in surface temperature means something catastrophic is happening deep inside. The fusion pressure holding the core upright is weakening. Gravity is beginning to gain the upper hand. The star is starting to collapse inward. Follow-up observations from 2020 through 2024 confirm it is not recovering. Betelgeuse continues to shed its outer layers faster than any existing model predicted. Material is streaming away into open space. Mass is being lost, and with every gram that leaves, the core steps 1 inch closer to total gravitational collapse. So what is stripping that mass away? What is pushing this star over the edge? Archival data from multiple telescopes is now revealing the answer. Betelgeuse is not alone. It has a companion star. Astronomers are calling it Siph, small, faint, perhaps 1.5 times the mass of our Sun, and it orbits Betelgeuse every 5.8 years. But here is the crucial detail. Betelgeuse is so swollen that Siph's orbit actually takes it directly through the red giant's outer atmosphere, like a wrecking ball plunging through fog. Every 5.8 years it passes through, and every time it does, it pulls material away. It stirs up the plasma. It destabilizes the convection cells that hold the star together. The Great Dimming Event of 2020? Astronomers are now confirming it happened right after SAFE's closest approach. The companion star plunged through the atmosphere, ripped a convection cell loose, and hurled it into space. That ejected material cooled, condensed into dust, and blocked our view of the star's southern hemisphere. That is why the star dimmed, not because of normal stellar behavior, but because a hidden companion is tearing it apart. And here is where the timeline shatters. Every time SAFE passes through, Betelgeuse loses more mass. More mass loss means less pressure holding the core up against gravity. Less pressure means the core compresses faster. Faster compression means silicon burning accelerates. And once silicon burning begins, you have weeks, maybe days. We were told this star had 100,000 years left, but if the companion star keeps ripping material away, and if the core is already in late-stage fusion, we might have decades, perhaps less. Right now, spectroscopic observations are showing SAFE has just passed through the atmosphere again. Data is revealing a wake forming behind it, a trail of concentrated stellar wind. That wake is cooling as we speak, and when it cools enough, it will condense into yet another massive dust cloud. Another dimming event is coming, and if it's worse than the last one, if even more material gets ejected, the star might not recover. So we're watching a countdown, a star being pushed toward the absolute edge by gravitational interactions we only discovered 2 years ago. And the worst part? We have no idea how far along the process really is, because the light we're seeing right now is ancient, extremely ancient. Betelgeuse is roughly 640 light-years away. That means the light hitting our telescopes today left that star in the year 1386. The dimming event we saw in 2020, that actually happened back in 1380. SAFE plunging through the atmosphere last month, that was 1386. Everything we're observing is 6 centuries out of date. We are not watching Betelgeuse in real time. We are watching a ghost, a 640-year-old recording playing on a cosmic delay, which means the star could already be dead. The core could have collapsed back in 1850. The explosion could have happened in 1920. The blinding flash could be passing Jupiter right now, racing toward Earth at 186,000 miles per second, about to hit us tomorrow morning, or next week, or 10 years from now. We have no way of knowing. We are trapped in the dark, waiting for the light to arrive. But we will get a warning, a brief one. When the core finally collapses, when gravity crushes it down into a neutron star in less than a single second, the rebound triggers the explosion. But the very first thing to escape is not light, it's neutrinos, tiny, ghostly particles that barely interact with matter at all. They stream out of the collapsing core at nearly the speed of light, moving slightly ahead of the shock wave that blows the star apart. Deep underground in Japan, Canada, and Antarctica, massive neutrino detectors are waiting. Huge tanks of purified water surrounded by thousands of sensors. Normally, they detect just a few neutrinos per day, background noise from the sun and cosmic rays. But when Betelgeuse explodes, they will detect billions in seconds, an unmistakable flood. Scientists monitoring those detectors will know immediately. Alerts will go out, text messages, emails, news bulletins. Betelgeuse is going supernova. Look east. You would have maybe 24 to 48 hours. That is the gap between the neutrinos arriving and the visible light catching up. 1 to 2 days. And during that window, humanity would exist in a state of absolute breathless anticipation, knowing the sky is about to catch fire, knowing there is nothing we can do to stop it, just waiting, watching the eastern horizon, counting down. Imagine that, 48 hours of knowing. Schools would cancel classes. Observatories would open to the public. Rooftops would fill with people holding phones and cameras. News channels would run continuous coverage. Astronomers would explain what to expect, but no one would truly know, because no supernova this close has exploded since the invention of the telescope, since the invention of photography, since the invention of almost everything. The last nearby supernova visible to the naked eye was in 1604, over 400 years ago. No one alive has experienced this. No one. And then the light arrives. If you are outside at night when it happens, the first thing you will notice is Orion. The constellation will look wrong. Betelgeuse. The red star marking the hunter's shoulder will be brighter than normal, much brighter. Within an hour, it will rival Venus, brighter than anything in the sky except the moon. Within a few more hours, it will surpass the moon. It will become a blazing point of white light with a reddish halo, magnitude -12, as bright as a half moon, but concentrated, not spread across the sky, but focused into a single piercing star. You will be able to read a book by its light. At midnight, in the middle of a city with no other light source, the star will be so bright it will cast shadows, hard shadows, sharp and defined. You will hold up your hand and see two shadows stretching across the ground, one from the streetlights, one from Betelgeuse. A red shadow, long and cold, pointing away from Orion. But it will not just dominate the night. This explosion is so violent, so tremendously energetic, that you will see it during the day, in broad daylight next to the sun. You will walk outside at noon, look up, and see two suns. The real sun, yellow and blazing in the southern sky, and Betelgeuse, a reddish-white point in the east, smaller, fainter than the real sun, but still visible, unmistakable, a second sun hanging in the blue sky. Now, a lot of people will panic. Is the radiation going to kill us? Is the gamma ray burst going to strip away the ozone layer and sterilize the surface? Fair question. If Betelgeuse were 50 light-years away, we would be in serious trouble. The high-energy radiation would destroy our atmosphere. Ultraviolet light from the sun would cook the planet. But at 640 light-years, distance is our shield. The radiation spreads out, it dilutes. By the time it reaches Earth, it is harmless. The visible light is intense. The neutrinos pass through us without interacting. The gamma rays get absorbed by the upper atmosphere. We are safe, completely safe. This is not a threat. This is a spectacle, and it will last. Type 2 supernovae do not peak and fade in a few days like other stellar explosions. They plateau for 80 to 100 days. Betelgeuse will burn at maximum brightness for 3 full months. Every night when the sun sets, Betelgeuse rises, brilliant, unwavering, permanent. Your evening routine will change. You will walk outside after dinner, look east, and there it will be, the second sun, casting red light across the buildings, illuminating the clouds from below, making the night sky glow. Social media will explode. Every platform will be flooded with photos, videos, time-lapses of Betelgeuse rising over skylines. Artists will paint it, poets will write about it, religious groups will interpret it, doomsday cults will predict the end. Scientists will try to calm everyone down, but no one will listen, because this is not normal. This is not something humans are built to process. For our entire evolutionary history, the stars have been fixed, permanent, unchanging, and now one of them is screaming. Bright enough to see during the day, bright enough to rewrite the night sky, and it is not stopping. Global culture would shift. Betelgeuse would dominate every conversation, every news cycle, every headline. It would be the defining event of the decade, maybe the century. Astronomers would become celebrities. Telescopes would be in constant demand. Planetariums would sell out. And every person on Earth, no matter where they live, no matter what language they speak, would look up and see the same thing, a dying star. 640 years too late to help, but close enough to feel. But eventually it will fade. After 3 months at peak brightness, the light curve will start dropping slowly. Magnitude -12 becomes -10, then -8, then -5. Within 6 months, it will drop below 0, below naked eye visibility, and within a year you would need a telescope to see it. The supernova remnant, a faint expanding cloud of gas, and at the center, if the models are right, a neutron star, a ball of compressed matter the size of Manhattan with the mass of the sun, spinning, emitting radiation pulses, maybe a pulsar, maybe not. We will not know until we see it, and Orion will be broken forever. Right now, when you look at the constellation, you see the belt, 3 stars in a straight line, and above the belt, 2 bright stars, Betelgeuse on the left, Bellatrix on the right, the hunter's shoulders. But after the supernova, Betelgeuse will be gone. The left shoulder will be empty, just blackness. For a few months, it will be a brilliant star, but then it fades, and what is left is nothing. A constellation humans have navigated by for thousands of years will be permanently altered. Children growing up after the explosion will never see Orion the way we see it now. They will learn about Betelgeuse in history class. They will see photos of what the sky used to look like, but they will not experience it, because it will be gone. And that brings us to the real question, the one no one is asking yet. If mainstream models were this wrong about Betelgeuse, what else are they missing? How many other nearby supergiants are quietly destabilizing while we assume they're stable? Antares, Rigel, Deneb, VY Canis Majoris, all massive stars, all within a few thousand light years, all candidates for supernova. And if any of them have hidden companions, if any of them are being torn apart by gravitational interactions we haven't detected yet, the timeline could be much shorter than we think. Betelgeuse is not an isolated case. It is a warning. The universe is more active, more dynamic, more violent than the textbooks promised. Stars do not wait politely for 100,000 years to explode. They destabilize, they erupt, they collapse without warning. And when they do, the light reaches us 6 centuries later, a ghost arriving on our doorstep, demanding to be seen. So here is my question for you. Are we in a new era? Is the universe entering a phase of accelerated stellar death? Or have we just been blind until now, and this is actually normal? What do you think? Drop your answer below. And if you want to see how this connects to the other anomalies we've been tracking, check out the playlist. Because whether this is a coincidence or a pattern, we are going to keep watching, keep analyzing, keep looking up. Make sure you are subscribed. The moment those neutrino detectors spike, you will know it here first. Betelgeuse is counting down, and so are we.